Ye's back in some hot water again this week, and they want to kill your kids or groom your kids, as per usual with these people. Welcome back to Alt.tistic, the most retarded show on the face of the internet. My name is Garrett. I am your host, and with me is my co-host Davey and my producer Zach. Sorry we missed out last week. We live busy lives, and we totally don't do this full time at all. So we had to skip last week because we had things going on, but that doesn't matter. We're here now, gracing your lovely screens, all 7 or 8 of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, Ye got in some hot water. I mean, Ye's been tearing up a storm since we last did this. I mean, he was on Drink Champs, and I watched the whole 3.5 hour episode of that, and it was crazy. I kind of had to zone out a little bit because it was basically just Kanye doubling down, or I'm sorry, Ye. I didn't realize that that's his legal name now. I just thought that was a nickname. Did not realize he legally changed his name to Ye. So, I mean, that's an aside. But his podcast appearance on Drink Champs was basically just Nor, is that his name? Nor. Trying to rein Kanye in, and Kanye just going, no, what are you doing? Like trying to, there was the clip I showed you right before. He was like, Nor was going like, oh, don't worry guys, Jews, Kanye still loves you, and then it just cuts to Kanye and he goes, no, like that's pretty much a summary of that whole show was them trying to backtrack for Kanye, and Kanye just doubling down on a lot of this. He appeared on Piers Morgan this week, and we should have a clip for that. I think video 2, where he went on Piers Morgan's show, and it was kind of this more of the same, except it was more Piers Morgan confronting Kanye, whereas with Drink Champs it was like, oh, we're friends, but like Kanye, you gotta chill. With this, it was definitely Piers Morgan trying to force Ye to backtrack on it, so we can go to that.
Now regret saying death gone free on Jewish people. Are you sorry you said that?
No.
I don't think it matters. You should be.
No.
Absolutely not.
You should be.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but yeah, you should be.
Absolutely not.
When you insult the Jewish people and say you're going death gone free on the Jewish people, that is as racist as anything you say you've been through and any pain that you've experienced. It's the same thing. Racism is racism. And you know that, I think, don't you?
Yeah, obviously, that's why I said it.
So you said it knowing it's racist.
Yes, I fought fire with fire.
Okay.
I'm not here to get hosed down.
At least
Tell him. I mean, it's got to be so frustrating for him to sit in any room and have a conversation with anybody.
Yeah.
Because he has his opinion, and I mean, part of being American is realizing that other people have opinions that you may not agree with, and you just kind of have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with where he's coming from because I get it. I mean, they own the whole entire porn industry. They own Hollywood. Yeah. They own all of the things that we complain about on a daily basis. But yet, when somebody actually calls those people out for being evil, everybody's like, oh, well, you're racist. No, I don't think it has to do with race, so to speak. I think that if you want to broaden the spectrum and say it is, okay, go ahead. I mean, you just sound like an idiot because he's focusing on certain particular issues. He's bringing them to light, and notice how they're not talking about the issues he brought to light. They're just calling them racist like they do everybody else.
Oh, you're anti-Semitic, blah, blah, blah. What's the quote? To find out who's in charge, discover who you can't criticize. I know I butchered that quote, but something similar to that vein. Yeah, regardless of what you think about what Kanye said, I mean, he's addressing undeniable facts in terms of there is a really weird amount of the banking clan people in the top elites. I know there was a quote that was memed on by AOC where she said, capitalism is not a redeemable system for us. It does not benefit the vast majority of Americans and is a system run by the wealthy minority. And now everyone's clowning on her is like, whoa, cooling with the anti-Semitic remarks. But I mean, it's true in terms of, you look at it and it's an undeniable fact in terms of the president's cabinet, the people who run the porn industry, the people who run entertainment in general, the people who run the media. I think there's 6 conglomerate companies that run the whole of the entertainment industry. And I think all 6 of them are run
Yep.
by the banking clan people.
And you know what's funny is, as Christians, we should be calling these people out because they don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah.
Well,
So I don't
yeah.
I don't understand why we're not calling these people out. I don't understand why we sit on our hands and it's like, oh well, those are God's chosen people. I mean, in the Old Testament, yeah, and I mean, and they probably still are His people. But at the same time, I mean, I can't remember if we talked about the whole thing in the Bible where it says for first the Jew and then the Gentile. But
Yeah, we did a little bit.
that confused. But other than that, it's like, look, if you don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah, you're playing for the wrong team. And
Yeah,
if you're
well-
going to defend those people, you're the problem.
The thing is modern day Judaism, I feel like is a little different than Old Testament Judaism in terms of modern day. Almost a core tenet of it is the fundamental rejection of Jesus Christ specifically. It's not, oh, I'm a Muslim and I just kind of believe in Allah and that kind of stuff. It's, yeah, we believe in God, but also Jesus Christ was not the Son of God. We don't believe that. That is false.
How is that not the most evil religion that exists on the planet? Because it's like, if they're specifically targeting Christianity, and it's like, if they specifically come after Jesus, then that's the enemy, and that's the devil.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and you go along that track. We are a nation founded under Christian principles. So why is it that people who ascribe to a religion that is fundamentally, at the very best, antagonistic with Christianity, why are they the ones controlling everything? It's an interesting question to ask. And while I don't like to paint in broad general strokes, I don't like to be like, oh, all black people are this. There is trends that you can look at. I'm sure, Miss Art teacher who makes minimum wage, Jewish lady, she doesn't know anything about this, but you got to look at who's in charge, and fundamentally that's who's in charge. So it makes it it makes it weird when Kanye brings that up to be like, oh, well, you're anti-Semitic. It's like, why is it anti-Semitic to just bring up basic facts?
Right. I wonder, are there different, you know how Christianity has Pentecostal, Baptist, yada, yada, yada. Is there like Orthodox Jewish and then like different type? Because I know there are some Jewish people who like believe that Jesus was real and they think that he was a prophet.
Yeah, well, so the way I understand it, there are Orthodox Jews, and then I know how a lot of people frame what Kanye is addressing as non-religious Jews, but then also I think there's still Orthodox people who are in those positions, but then there's also Messianic Jews, like Bryson Gray, he's a Messianic Jew. And Messianic Jews believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God, but I don't know how then it fits into Judaism. That would be a question to ask him, or a Messianic Jew.
My whole thing is, I think that we're getting to the point now where we have to stop just saying, I'm a Christian, because that doesn't mean diddly squat anymore. What it is you are a follower of Jesus Christ. And if you follow the teachings of Jesus, then you should end up where you need to be. And nowhere in the Bible does it say you have to be a Christian. It says the only way to get to heaven is through my Son. Jesus, he's the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through me. And I think that's part of the reason it's so important we get back to what the pagans were doing. I mean, if it's wrong, call it out. Hold them accountable. Put them in jail. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Stop all the nonsense. And I think this is the beginning of that. Whether people like it or not, Kanye is doing more than a lot of pastors are doing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty scary, because if you look at where Kanye started, where he thought he was a reincarnation of Jesus, to where now he's come full circle and he's doing God's work. It is, you cannot tell me that there's not an unsavable person on this planet, because if Kanye can come back to God and lead a march of people, and now at the same time,
don't idolize the man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pray to God that he's not the Antichrist.
Yeah. I think he's a little too manic to do that.
That's just fun.
Yeah. But no, I do think it's also like, don't make the dude into an idol or someone to aspire to be like.
Right.
In terms of theologically.
Right.
In terms of like being outspoken and speaking your mind, absolutely. But because he does seem to be a little all over the place. I feel like he kind of ebbs and flows in ever since he recommitted himself with
think-
Jesus as King. Because he also did an entire service at Joel Osteen's church. So
Yeah.
he's still a guy trying to figure everything out.
And I
on
think
the,
that's what
on
a
the
lot of it is.
theological spectrum.
When he made his church, you could tell he was trying to do the right thing. And I think a lot of it is you have to fall and make the mistakes that we made when we were kids because we just didn't know. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing with him. And I think that with him surrounding himself with people like Candace Owens, and eventually I'm praying that Kanye and Bryson Gray make a song together.
That would be
because
epic.
I would lose my crap at all of the people, the millions of people
That'd
who would
be epic.
finally get to hear Bryson Gray and all the things that he has to say.
That would lift him up big time because he's already big in conservative spheres, but he doesn't have necessarily that mainstream appeal yet.
And a lot of people don't know. I mean, the "Let's Go Brandon" song went viral.
Yeah.
They didn't know that was him, and I didn't know it
especially
either.
because like 15 other songs were made, but
Right,
that
with
was
the same
Yeah,
name.
Bryson's was the one that blew up.
And it's, I mean, he's beaten Adele with songs. He has beaten Drake with songs, and it's like, God has a plan, and these people are telling God, "Use me as a vessel. I'll do this." And
Yeah.
Bryson's doing it, and Candace Owens is doing it, and Kanye's doing it, and these people don't like that these black people are standing up and saying what they believe. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, because they're white authoritarian Jewish people, or they're white authoritarian. What's the other word? The people who think they're the best race that's ever existed.
Aryan? Is
Aryans.
it Aryan? Okay.
Like, there's a reason that they target black people with abortion clinics and they go to the hood with abortion clinics. It's because they don't want black people on this planet.
Yeah.
And when you get white people and black people working together, that's like their biggest fear. And that's the point that
Yeah.
we've reached now. And that's why I'm so excited to see Kanye stand up. Because you don't you're just like Andrew Tate. You don't have to agree with everything that comes out of his mouth. You just have to know that him and Kanye are the only two people keeping free speech alive, because Trump's not allowed to say anything.
Yeah.
We can't say anything. I mean, and even then, like, if I tweeted out the most truthful, controversial statement, 7 people would see it.
Yeah.
Like, and even then, like, Twitter's gonna censor it. If people start retweeting it, it's just gonna go to the side. It's gonna go to the wayside.
I mean, look at this podcast. We consistently have been stuck at 8 subscribers since we've
Every
started.
time we get a new one, they take it away from us.
know.
That's what it is.
But I mean, you got to use the voice you have to stand up and say what you believe. If you're as big as Ye, if you're somewhere in the middle like Bryson Gray, or if you're someone like us, like, just stand up and speak truth. Speak truth to power.
You'll feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Too.
Something I would like to add about the Drink Champs podcast. I mean, everyone was freaking out about it. To me, the most controversial thing the man said in that entire podcast was that Drake is the best rapper of all time.
Yeah. I
Dude,
mean,
Drake is a talentless hack. I cannot stand the man.
well, for me, I think that Drake is one of those people that they want to be famous. He's the LeBron James of the music industry. LeBron would not be as relevant as he is if, when he was in high school, ESPN didn't start follow him and call him the king, call him the heir to the throne.
Yeah, that
Drake was
so
the same
strange.
way. Drake released his
King
first
James.
mixtape. It was great. It was good music. And then everything else after that, somebody else wrote for him, somebody else produced it. He's
Became
just a
corporate.
face.
He
Yeah.
became corporate.
He sold out. And I think that's a lot of the reasons that, I mean, you can respect. I think Drake is more of an artist than a rapper, just me
Yeah.
personally. But I mean, best rapper to ever live,
Bro.
Tupac.
Yeah, you look at yourself. Look in a mirror.
I mean, well, to be honest with you, and a lot of people are gonna think that I'm only saying this because he's white, but Eminem lyrically, you cannot
He
hold
is-
a candle to him. Him and Lil Wayne are the two only people that they can have a conversation rapping to each other, bar for bar, and it makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
they can tell you a story and it's completely coherent, but it also goes to the beat, it rhymes, and you're like, these people are geniuses. And then you're gonna say Drake. Really?
Yeah. Kind of some newer developments, since that was from like 2 weeks ago. And now my camera's gone out of focus. 2 weeks ago, we're going to go more recent. The mother of George Floyd's daughter has filed a $250 million lawsuit against Kanye West because of what he said on Drink Champs. So the thing to me that has been weird is he talked a lot about the banker clan, as we're going to keep referring to him, to, just kind of maybe ease certain copyright strikes or whatever, or hate speech, whatever. A lot of that kind of went by the wayside because he talked about Candace Owens' new documentary, which I've been meaning to watch. I just haven't gotten around to it. It's on Daily Wire Plus. So
how much is that?
I have no idea. A guy at my church just randomly offered.
Banker people running stuff.
There was some drama with that. That was interesting. So at the premiere, that was in Memphis, and
why would they pick Memphis? This is a horrible place to pick.
That's because that's where Candace Owens operates out of. So
I did not know that.
That's where she lives. So she did a premiere at Memphis. She went. Kanye West went, or Ye. I need to drill that into my head. I'm too used to calling him Kanye. But Ye went. Bryson Gray went. Jason Whitlock. Curiously enough, our boy Benny Shapiro did not show up to support his employee in her film endeavors. Curiously enough, I don't think Michael Knowles went. Curiously enough, I don't think Matt Walsh went. But when Matt Walsh did his documentary, everybody from the higher-ups showed up and gave their support. Now, granted, all of them could have been busy that night, but I'm just saying, it's interesting because this premiered right after the Ye stuff and her doubling down with him.
Have they said anything in reference to or about that situation? Like, has Kanye mentioned it? Has Ben Shapiro mentioned it? Is there any conversation happening about or between those two that we know about?
I don't know. I know Shapiro put out a statement about it.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro mentioned it and he was disavowing it. But he's I think he said something we'll talk to Candace and we'll work it out between the Jewish people who run Daily Wire and her.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if the Daily Wire decides to get rid of Candace Owens or come out and say something against Kanye, they're kind of playing into what Kanye said was the problem. So at that point, it's how conservative is Ben Shapiro? How conservative is Matt Walsh? Are these people the people that we think that they are, or are they plants from the other side to just occupy this group of people for a while?
Yeah. Because there's a bunch of theories that, at the very least, Ben Shapiro is controlled opposition. I know a lot more people who like Matt Walsh and Knowles. A lot more people who like Knowles than Walsh, even. But it's interesting, and I'm looking forward to see kind of how that situation develops. What their ultimate decision's going to be with that. But we will see. Going back to George Floyd's mom's daughter. Wait, hold on. What was it, Zach? Pull it up back up.
His sister, if it's his mom's
mother
daughter?
of George Floyd's daughter. So his lover,
baby mama,
his baby mama. Is it the one that he put the gun
probably
into her?
So she. His baby mama, or was that some random woman that he broke into her house?
I don't know. But anyway, so Ye is getting sued for saying what happened. I don't really understand this, but this precedent has been set with Alex Jones, he recently declared bankrupt earlier this year, and then he also recently, and we have image 10 for this.
Yep.
He lost a trial to Sandy Hook families, and he had paid $965 million in damages to them because of things he said nearly 20 years ago, and now they're coming back for $2.75 trillion.
Can you do that after the case is closed?
I don't know. I
think they're just going again.
Yeah, they're just like,
you can do that?
We won? All right, let's do it again.
I guess.
I thought it was the whole double jeopardy thing where you can't be tried for the same crime twice.
I think that's if you're proven innocent.
Not guilty?
I guess.
Well, I mean, if you're proven guilty, and then it's like, oh, well, that thing that you're proven guilty about?
It might be in a different state. That might be it.
I wouldn't put it past them to just be finding loopholes in the law.
They did it once. Might as well. That's the precedent we've set. And the thing with Alex Jones was he as far as I've seen the clip where it was him questioning the legitimacy of the Sandy Hook shooting, and then a week later went, oh, you know what, folks, I was wrong on that. It actually happened. Like, it was him trying to figure out what was going on, as most of us are nowadays.
In his defense, there were multiple things that have happened in the past year where these kids were supposed to graduate, and the kids that supposedly died graduated. They walked.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, huh. And so that's what makes me think that it. And I'm not saying one way or the other.
We don't want to get sued. We don't have that kind of
I don't
money.
have that kind of money. My point is, he's looking into things and evaluating things and thinking deeply, and this is the consequence for
Yeah,
it.
and
Kanye has his opinion, and he voices it, and those are the consequences for it.
Yeah, and they're doing this on the grounds of defamation, if I'm not wrong. How is this defamation of characters?
And because when he said that stuff, some of his followers, I guess, contacted the families and called them liars.
I had heard about that, but he didn't call for that to happen,
Funny.
though.
That is
So
kind of
yeah, I mean, it is kind of. It's funny
what would
if
they
it was
call?
fake. It's funny if it was fake. It's kind of sad if.
No, I'm not saying it's
But-
funny, haha, those fans.
Yeah.
It's funny that there are stupid people who are.
people who just-
How do you get
Like
the
followers of,
contact
like-
information from that family?
I think either they called or like went to their house and was like,
Yeah.
"You're a
Oh
liar."
my god, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't
It was a
imagine
crap
being the
show.
guy and you're just like, hey, I heard what happened.
Standing
Yeah.
outside someone's house with a sign.
I'm so sorry.
liar.
Yeah, I'm sorry your kid died.
Wink. Bro, if somebody came up to my house after they did that, my dad would blast them. It wouldn't. He'd be like, "Oh, let me go get. I got a gift for you." Bam.
Honestly, if someone came up to me after my mom died and was just sorry your mom died, I might like punch him in the face and then just start laughing. Like, bro, you're so stupid. What?
If you can laugh in a situation like that, you've got it figured out, man.
I don't know. I'm disillusioned.
Unlike these people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex
Just
Jones
taking 'em-
could either pay his fine or buy Sweden and move there.
Honestly,
Vote to buy Sweden.
with that
Sweden.
money, yeah.
Yeah, that's allegedly more than the United States spent all through World War II from 1942 to 1945.
Must have been a Republican in
Golly.
office, because if it was a Democrat, these would be normal numbers.
Yeah.
How much money do you think we've spent in like the past? Oh, I don't know.
On Ukraine alone.
Yeah.
On Ukraine alone, I think we're in the $1 trillion
They can go
area.
digital. Definitely not a coke addiction.
Yeah. But this whole situation's just silly. Like, on one, look, be offended about things people say, but this is stupid. That's all I can release. This is ridiculous to go, okay, you said something I don't like, I'm going to sue you for it. That inherently cancels out the First Amendment of the United States.
That was under the Obama administration, Sandy Hook shooting, right?
I don't remember. I could have sworn it was when we were like children, but I think it was
long
2012.
ago. I remember when it happened, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't the Daniel Hogg one, right?
Yeah.
No, that one was more recent. That was like
It was-
2017.
The Daniel Hogg one was more recent.
David.
Because that happened. Yeah, David Hogg happened under
David-
Trump
yeah, David
because
Hogg.
he went to Harvard and did all these speeches. But I say all that because that was about the time that censorship started, and you weren't able to say this, you weren't able to say that, and so it's funny that it's come full circle back to Alex Jones and
Yeah.
Kanye West and these people that have been involved since the beginning. And even back then when Kanye was saying stupid crap I didn't agree with, at least he was able to voice his opinion. And I mean, nowadays it's like it's scary. I feel so bad for Alex because I know all he wants to do is stop this crap from happening, and here
Yeah.
he is eating the bullet for it. Like,
Yeah, well, he wanted to retire before all this happened too. I think he was looking at retiring within the next couple of years, and then all this crap happened. It's like, well, shoot, like I got to keep going.
don't you? Well, what do you think the biggest thing is that he did? The when he found that owl.
Oh, the gosh,
can't remember
I was
what
just
Bohemian
talking-
Grove.
Bohemian Grove.
Grove.
The Bohemian Grove's probably the biggest thing because that's the one that most people, regardless of if they liked him or not, commended him for. But yeah, that one was big. Then what got me onto him was they're putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay, and that became a
Turning
meme.
the frogs gay.
And that's where I was like, oh, dude, I love Alex Jones. He's hilarious.
I forgot about that.
And then I found out like 4 years later that there was a study, a water test done in Lake Michigan, and they had found that there were chemicals that were being dumped into it that gave the frogs that lived around the lake proclivities towards same-sex sex.
That's crazy.
And I was like, bro, wait, that meme was right.
He wasn't wrong. It's so funny that when you say something that outlandish, it's not untrue. You're like,
Yeah.
what else are they lying to us about?
Honestly, I feel like he perfected the crazy conspiracy thing because he delivers what he says in such a ridiculous, over-the-top way that it goes viral because of the way he delivered the message. But because he delivered the message in such a crazy way, it almost gives him a little bit of plausible deniability. So someone can't just, try to pull what they pulled with him now with Sandy Hook. But it still gets the message out there. So it goes viral. You can kind of have a little layer of plausible deniability because it's crazy man flipping out in his studio and not just, here's what I definitively believe. But people still hear the message anyway. So whenever he's inevitably proven right, you go, wait, Crazy Frog Man was right?
I wonder if that's what Crazy Frog was about. It was inspired by Alex Jones.
I don't know.
Ding, 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 ding. Oh, no, we're going to get copyrighted.
Oh, no. How could you do this to me? But yeah, that... I look forward to seeing what Ye's going to do this upcoming week. He also bought Parler, which kind of revitalized the platform just a little bit. So maybe Parler will come back in strides. We'll see. From where I'm standing, bad investment, but I mean, we'll see what he does with it. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he will do in the future. I'm looking forward to Alex Jones just having a normal life.
I wonder if he bought Parler so that way when Elon Musk takes over Twitter, he could sell Parler to Twitter and become equals or almost equals with Elon, and they can run Twitter together.
Well, Elon was doing a bunch of crap posting about Kanye. There was a good way.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
No. Like where he posted a picture and it was the Super Saiyan thing, and it was Kanye in Parler and Elon in Twitter. Elon has been so hard for me to figure out because he'll post something like that. He'll back Ye. He posted like a Three Musketeers thing with Trump and Truth Social, Elon Twitter, Ye and Parler, but then he'll delete it and try to backtrack. He did the whole thing where he's like, oh, we're going to get rid of Starlink in Ukraine because I'm not going to pay money out of pocket for free internet for an entire country. Then he got put on a Ukrainian hit list, and he had to back roll on that.
I wonder if I know he is not a bad guy, but I don't know if he is a good guy. I think he's trying to be a good guy, but he's afraid.
Yeah.
Kanye's not afraid, and I think that's the difference between Kanye and Elon.
Yeah.
Elon
The
Musk.
crazy thing is the three prominent heads of free speech who are trying to drive forward the culture and pushing back against the culture, three most prominent people are kind of these crazy, unhinged individuals who just say whatever. Elon, Trump, and Ye will just go out and just say whatever, and everyone will freak out. And they're just like, well, whatever. Like, okay. And it makes them very endearing, but... we need more rich people who are just a little unhinged, and put in a good way, unhinged with their speech, let's say. But yeah, so it's also, we're approaching closely on election season. I don't know if you guys are gonna vote. I'm heavily trying to debating whether or not I'm going to vote or not.
I got big news when you finish.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, I'm heavily debating because, frankly, our options here in Arkansas, specifically Central Arkansas, is not great.
It's a turd and a crap.
A douche, what was it? A douche and a turd sandwich.
A douche and a turd, yep, that was South Park.
From South Park. So I'm just like, well, I get every vote matters, but also, I don't really want to put my name behind somebody that is not going to be good for us one way or the other.
Well, you can in Arkansas anyway. I don't know about all the other states. You can go in and take your ballot, and you can pick which ones you want to vote for. You don't have to completely fill out the ballot. So if you only want to vote on the issues, you can go in there, skip all the candidates, and vote on the issues.
Okay.
Turn your ballot in and be done. Good news. They are bringing a bill to the floor for layman's terms. Just so people, it's not called a bill, and when you're in the county, it's a resolution. But it will say basically in Saline County, we do not allow voting machines. Everything is done by hand. Everything is done through paper. There is no mail-in ballot.
Good.
If you want to turn in a ballot, that you have a 2-week period. You come in, you pick up the ballot, and you can take it home. That person fills it out. They sign it. When it's brought back, it goes through an extremely crazy process of, this person's got to check it. It's got to be identified. There has to be a phone call made. There has to be a lot of different stuff that happens. And they want it to be extremely difficult, so it deters people from wanting to do that. The craziest thing is the people who are against it are the people that I have to go to a meeting with once a month, because they said that it's going to take too long, and then these people are going to be up all night. We're not going to have the election results fast enough.
Oh my god!
And I said, kind of like how the election results with the other things that we complain about. I almost said something that would have gotten us in trouble. But
the free and fair election that was heavily fortified, the most fortified election of all time.
The craziest thing in my mind is the people who defend that the most are the people that are supposed to represent our thought process. And in reality, people like French Hill don't deserve to represent me. Asa Hutchinson, Sarah Huckabee don't deserve to represent me, because we do not have the same thought process. Your values and your ideals come from money and success. My version of success is, how many people can we get saved? How many people can we get into the kingdom? Can I do what God tells me to do? And I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to mess up 100 times out of 200, more than likely. But I'm going to raise my hand and say, hey, you know what? I screwed up. This is not one of those things. If we can get paper ballots, you don't have to worry about, we accidentally found these 3,000 votes that got left out. Like, that's not anymore. You don't have to worry about the sanctity of elections. If you count everything by hand and you take your time, I don't care if it takes a week to figure out who the president is.
As long as it's done right.
I would much rather know that Bobby Joe Goodness from nowhere, Arkansas, got his butt kicked 2 million votes to 0 by Susie Joe Harris over here, but it happened legally. I don't want anybody to say, this person didn't win, that person didn't win. I don't want to have that own doubt in myself. So how do you fix that? You go back. You go back to the ways that prevented these things.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting to see the debates because.
Well, I was told earlier, Sarah Huckabee Sanders has done one debate so far. Like she
won't do debates.
She's pulling a Fetterman
because
and
her health.
Debates.
She's afraid for. She has. She just had surgery, and it was cancerous. But at the same time, it's like. You had it removed.
I mean, freaking.
You're not gonna. It's not an open wound. Like, you're not having open heart surgery done during this debate.
Teddy Roosevelt got shot in the middle of a speech and still finished it. I think you can handle.
You know why she won't do a debate? Do you know who funded her whole entire campaign?
Walmart.
No, somebody from California that's a liberal, some random Democrat. No one knows this guy's name. And it's like, okay, so it's probably not some random person. It's somebody that wants their name protected. And that alone, I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on. If you're going to take money from somebody and not tell us who it is, I will never vote for you. Because you're a loser and you're a politician. And I don't vote for politicians. That's why I voted for Doc Washburn. That's the reason that I voted for... what's his name that ran against Conrad?
Conrad Reynolds.
Conrad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Colonel, not Conrad.
Colonel Conrad Reynolds, I believe.
Well, his legal name is Colonel Conrad Reynolds.
Oh,
so
really?
when you put his title in front of his legal name, it's Colonel Conrad Reynolds.
Oh my gosh, that's a baller move right there. To be honest, yeah. I don't trust her, and
I don't either.
Like you even just do surface level research into who's funding her. It's just it doesn't feel right, and I don't like that. That's going to be our Republican representative.
And the way that she represented Trump before she left, and the way that she lied about things and the way that she carried herself, you could tell that she had motive. Well, now you can see, hindsight's 2020, you can see she was setting herself up to run for a political position.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she's in a pretty good position to take that position, and at the end of the day, I don't think there's much of a difference between her and Scott. The difference is that Scott's brother stole a kid and got away with it. I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I didn't.
He accidentally got into a car at a gas station that looked like his and drove off with it with a 8-month-old infant in the back seat. And then the people come out, and then the cops pull him over, and he pulls over. It's like a high-speed chase, and he's like, yo, like, the mayor is my brother. Like, I don't understand why you guys are so upset. And they're like, there's a kid in your back seat that you stole. This is not your car. And he was like, this is my car. And then he turned,
Oh, the baby's crying back here? I didn't know it was, what?
There's a child? What?
But my brother's still the mayor, so, you know.
I don't even think I think he was
Hunter Biden
detained.
for me?
I don't think he was arrested, pretty much. Yeah, that's what makes me mad. And could you imagine if something like that happened and he was governor? I mean, with the way that Tucker absolutely destroyed Asa after that Walmart stuff, I would hate to see what would happen in our capital if the governor's son stole a baby. I think that's enough reason to have a party at the governor's mansion.
Dude, Summer of Love.
Summer of Love. Oh, I love guns. And marshmallows. Marshmallow guns.
But seeing as how it is election season, right? I mean, we have the whole Fetterman debacle that's been going on for forever since his stroke, and he's like a younger Biden at this point, like completely potato brained. But what I wanted to bring up was our old friend Eric Swalwell, our old friend who fights for Americans and really loves Chinese women who just so happen to be directly from the Chinese government and feed intel right back to him. That old buddy who somehow is still in office, he released an ad, a political campaign ad this week. And go ahead and play it.
Which one is it?
Video 1. I was trying to...
You're just supposed to read his mind,
Yeah,
bro.
well, I was doing that. Video 1.
Oh, okay.
You're weird. He is weird.
You're weird.
Gross.
This is the police.
Anderson,
Yes.
I have a warrant for your arrest.
Arrest for what?
Penal Code 243 violation.
Penal
Unlawful
code.
termination of a pregnancy.
You gotta be kidding me.
That is my personal business.
That's
it's
for the
not.
courts to decide, ma'am. Your medical records have been
Based.
subpoenaed, and Dr. Landry's already in custody.
These cops are awesome.
No, my,
Yo, when
can't
does
just-
this
You'll have
happen?
to submit to a physical examination.
Good.
what? Brian?
No one's touching me.
Yeah, shoot him. Shoot him.
Glove.
Ma'am, turn around! Put your hands behind your back. Now!
Why is this happening?
Because your mom is an abortionist and she's a loser.
Your mother murdered your older brother.
We're just enforcing the law here.
Elections have consequences. Vote Democrat on November 8th. Stop Republicans from criminalizing abortion everywhere. Protect women's rights.
Oh, women's rights. Yeah,
when I
protect
first-
women's rights to murder their own children. Dirt, dirt, dirt.
Please don't do this.
Cry about it. I hope. Never mind. Yeah.
When I first watched that, I was just like, "Oh, yo, based. What Republican am I voting for this time?"
Right, I swear. I was like, this is good stuff. Okay. And then a
Vote
Democrat made it, and it was, okay. That's funny because, like, who thought this was a good commercial to run to get what?
It's like, "Oh, ma'am, you murdered your baby. We're going to arrest you. This is the future that Republicans want."
Now we need to make a commercial where it's like you got kids on stage stripping, and then you got kids throw money to them, and it's like,
Yeah.
child strip club. Do you want your preschools to turn into a child strip club? Vote Republican.
Yeah. It's like they run that, and they're like, this is Republicans are evil because they want to arrest women who killed their babies in front of their whole family.
That was never part of the plan, but now it is.
Yeah. Meanwhile, what they advocate for, which just show the headline for this. This is image 12 that I saw. I saw this.
I want to put that up there.
Do it.
It's censored. Don't worry.
Yeah, literally like 2 pixels are censored. The rest is just straight up.
First of all, let me.
This was from yesterday, by the way.
Why?
This is what
Why does
they
it say
advocate for.
her penis? Hers don't have penises. That's not a real thing.
We gotta be accepting even of the crazy people. I mean, it was the same thing with the Ezra Miller. It's like Ezra Miller, a non-binary actor, has committed sexual assault against many minors and has groomed them and has a sex cult for children. But then you call him a him. They're like, oh, but he goes by they them. It's like, this man is a pedophile who has assaulted many women and a lot of children, but we're going to sit here and debate the validity of his pronouns.
So when you got a kid and they're like, hey, like let's say me and you are having a conversation at KFC. We're sitting at the table, we're eating, and I've got a kid, and it's Braxton, and hey, and he's just trying to talk to us, and he just keeps trying to interrupt us, even though we're in the middle of a conversation. You don't stop having that conversation. You ignore the child because he's a child, and the child has to learn, hey, there's a conversation happening here.
You can't just interrupt.
You can't interrupt. You ignore the children when they act like a child. So when someone keeps saying, they, them, they, them, no, it is not they, them. I'm not going to sit here and pretend and play along. Like, you have to treat these people like children now. I mean, you just ignore them. You don't say, no, you're a him. No, you keep doing what you're doing,
But
and you
my
act like they don't exist.
But my pronouns. But no, shut up, dude.
Social rejection will eventually encase these people enough where they realized, hey, you know, like when I was a kid, I realized
Maybe I
real
am
quick,
crazy.
I can't go up to everybody and be like, hey, do you play Yu-Gi-Oh? These are the cards that I use. I like Pokemon. Because you'll get bullied. You will get bullied until there is no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then people make fun of your head being too big. And then when you get older and you start losing your hair before you turn 20 freaking 1, then people just start calling you baldy and you get bullied even more. My point is, I wouldn't know to wear a hat unless somebody bullied me enough to tell me to wear a hat. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because these people, yes, bullying is bad.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Well, you get my bullying is bad to a point.
It's a social necessity.
It is, because at some point in time, something clicks in that kid where they're like, "Oh,
I shouldn't be." It's the same thing as like spanking your kid when he does something wrong. It's that same negative reinforcement of, "Oh, I did this and received negative response. Maybe I shouldn't do that."
Now, there's a difference between, if you go to school and let's say you're like autistic and you, or let's say you have a tick and you just do this. Like, if someone makes fun of something you can't control, that's different. There's good bullying and then there's bad bullying. And I think that's where schools get confused, because when I was in school, if I did something stupid, the teachers bullied me. Like, there's anti-bullying posters everywhere. There's a difference between bullying someone and making them feel like they're worthless and they're meaningless versus making them realize, oh, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't share these things out loud. Maybe I shouldn't tell everybody that I'm a brony. Like, it's probably not a good idea. Also, I'm not a brony, but that's just the point.
Yeah. That reminded me. I watched a video yesterday by Turkey Tom where he talked about some of the degenerates in the brony community, and I learned what clopping was.
Oh, no.
And I wish I never learned about it.
Is this? We can't share this on the air.
I'm not. No, I'll tell you afterwards. All I'm saying is don't look up clopping.
Zach, Garrett, and Davey went clopping on Sunday.
No.
Alexa, pull up
clopping.
It's like that when the kid says, Alexa, play ticker ticker, but it thought it said, and then it starts playing porn, and then they're like, no. Oh, I love it.
But yeah, on the subject of bullying, there's a really good video on the YouTubes that I forget the YouTube channel, but it's an hour-long dissertation of this like French guy breaking down why bullying is good. If I knew the channel name off the top of my head, I'd recommend it.
Darn you.
Yeah, I know. That's my bad. But yeah, we definitely need more negative reinforcement because the softness of, oh, well, you have to accept everything has led to what we showed earlier. And also for our listeners, I realized we didn't actually read the headline. It was basically, it was a man pretending to be a woman who was on live national television. So this was broadcast into people's homes. And he took off all his clothes, revealed his real and his fake genitalia. And he put out his member and used it to play a piano. Similar to something Zelensky did for a sketch.
So you're telling me...
No, he didn't do... I don't think he did it for real, but he did... He was a comedian, so
they
part of
voted him as
his
president,
shtick.
and now they're upset that they're about to get absolutely obliterated by a nuke. Like, this is what happens when you elect celebrities. It's the same thing. Like, okay, now there's a difference. Trump was famous.
He was famous, but he was also
He was famous
a
for
tech
being famous.
Like, he was a business mogul,
Yeah.
too. So, like, he knew...
He wasn't
knew
just
what
a
he was
random
doing.
star. He was somebody who became famous because they're like, wow, you're really good at making money, bro. We should make a TV show about you.
Yeah.
And he was like, huh, more money.
I guess so. What can I say?
You know, I'm just perfect.
What can I say? I do great on camera. I always said I do great on camera.
He said, and then look at my son, look at my daughter, look at Don Jr. Don't look at Eric. Don't look at Eric. Just look at Ivanka and Don.
Oh my gosh. We also
it's natural hypertrophy is the guy you're talking about.
say that again.
Natural hypertrophy.
Oh, the
In
YouTube
English
channel.
this
Yeah.
time, please.
Or
Just show it. It'll be better to just show it.
there you go. Bullying is good and moral by this guy who's a fitness guy.
Yeah. Okay.
I like
Body
this guy.
with extremely strong muscles has no enemy.
Yeah, he does. I
He's
looked at
epic.
his channel.
Steroids? He's huge.
No, he's
No,
He's
does.
huge.
He does freaking anime videos from time to time, and it's like, here is a berserk workout tutorial, and it's like a straight up just like. I don't know. I haven't watched it, but I was just like, this seems super interesting. You want your body like an anime character? Do these workouts.
Well, I mean, it does look like an anime character. This dude's
Yeah.
absolutely
He's
shredded.
shredded. He does not look French to me though. Like when he started talking, it was like, wait, he's French? But yeah, moving on. So going along this topic of your kids, Stacey Abrams went on to CNN, I believe. Yes, MSNBC, excuse me. She went on to MSNBC and was asked about the current economy problem. And she has a brilliant solution for us, which is also, I forget to tell you these things. It is video 3. You're going to have to turn up the volume.
Price for gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For women, this is not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child.
So her solution is, the economy's bad? Well, it's because you have kids. So if you don't want the economy to be bad, just kill them.
Well, why stop at kids?
I mean, that's what they're doing with that poor. Shoot.
Right. That's. I mean, at what point can we say, enough is enough? Like, these people can't just keep saying, and they call for murder. Like they called for murder of Trump supporters. They called for murder of people who don't like the election results. They called for murder of people who are not born yet. They called for murder of Christians, and we're just like, okay.
No, well,
Like,
say so.
and it's
I
like,
don't want to say anything because I don't want to be racist.
we are doing something, but the problem is the people who are in positions to actually do something, i.e. the people we just complained about.
Best case scenario are a bunch of pansies.
Yeah.
Worst case, controlled opposition.
And it's like, what do you do when one side is evil and the other side doesn't care that they're evil? Like, they just genuinely don't give a crap. They're like, we'll get them in 4 years. Like, buddy, we don't have 4 years.
Yeah. We have a video, kind of addressing that point. Video 4. You can keep the volume low on this one. We'll just talk over it. So AOC has not been having a good couple weeks. This is the second protest at one of her speeches, I guess. But you'll see when it cuts back to her, these people are upset and angry with the crap she's doing. And it pans over to her several times during this video. And she's just sitting on stage drinking a water, or, doing the stupid, like, yeah, like dancing to the chant.
That lady's yelling, "Wake up!"
Yeah. Like, yeah, this is cool, and I'm glad you're using your voice, but you got to be more effective because they don't care. She does not care.
That's sitting in a room and standing and screaming. No. Get in
Like,
their face and push and shove and scare them physically, because the only other thing that's going to get through to their head, why do you think they don't like January 6th so much? We came into where they were. Mm-hmm. They didn't have anywhere to go. They didn't have anywhere to run.
Yeah.
They were
To be fair, AOC wasn't even in there.
Well, but you get my point. Yeah, she acts like she was there.
She was still terrified because
She was
she
there
was a
in
couple
spirit.
blocks away. But like, see this? Like this,
That is disrespectful as all get out.
It's like these people are hurting.
That
They're
tells
upset
you everything
and
you
angry.
need to know about her.
Yeah. Like they're upset and angry because you betrayed them as constituents.
There are 0 Democrats that can outmatch me physically, so try and stop me.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you go up to her and you're like, oh, you want to dance about all the people who have died? You want to dance about all the kids you've killed?
Yeah.
Go ahead and go meet them.
Yeah. There was another protest a week before this, and it was 2 guys, and one of them was saying like, I voted for you, and you're still sending money to put us into a nuclear war. It's like, yeah, I appreciate you're hurting. This isn't going to be effective because she doesn't care. She just wanted to get into office, and she just wants your vote. That's all she cares about. She wants to stay in power. She wants to keep making the money. She doesn't really care about the constituents. That's what Alex Stein has perfected in his form of protest is you make them look ridiculous. You get them on something they actually care about. He goes up and goes, oh, my big booty Latina. That's going to freaking trigger her because that's something you know for a fact that's something that will get under her skin, and that makes her look bad. So you have to find the things with your politicians to make them look bad, to show people these are not good people. Granted, with this, you can see like she's not a good person.
Like with French Hill, I found out that him and his wife had problems a few years ago because he cheated on her. And the last time that he came to our Republican meeting, all these people were like, "Why'd you do this to Ukraine?" Da, 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 da. And I said, "Yeah." So while you're at it, I said, "Could you tell me why you cheated on your wife, you sick sack of shit?" And he just kind of like you could tell he stopped, and he looked at me. I said, "Please do something." I said, "You know how long I've been waiting to beat the crap out of a politician?" And he just kind of said, and that's what we need. I don't care. I would go do some things that would get me in trouble if that meant standing on what I believed in.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna miss work. Ooh, Mr. Parker's gonna bail me out. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about how long I have to sit in jail. Who was it? Was it Peter that sat in jail for a long time? Who was it that sat in jail?
I know John was on an island by himself for years, and then Paul's been in multiple prisons.
And then you get Jonah swallowed by the whale. All these people get encased in situations, and Jonah was in a bad situation when he didn't listen to God, and then when he did listen to God, it was like, why am I here? But sometimes it's not about where you end up after the action. It's about that action and what happens after that. And that is not going to fix our problems.
Yeah.
What is going to fix our problems is building off of that and continuing to say, hey, because you can't hold these people accountable. The only way you can hold them accountable is if you mess with their money.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's get hackers and let's hack into French Hill's bank account. Because then what's he gonna do? Let's hack into. I'm not worried about the Democrats. I'm not worried about the left.
In GTA.
In GTA and in Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
For
PlayStation.
To be clear.
It's one of those things where the only thing they care about is money, and so until we start messing with their money, they're not gonna listen to us.
Yeah. I mean, you see, to kind of echo that point. Yeah, it's commendable that you're using your voice to speak up, but at the end of the day, going up to him and being, oh, you're a communist, you're a socialist, oh, you've hurt us. They don't care. Big booty Latina's gonna get under her skin.
That's all you want to do.
Even just like standing there and going like, you messed with that. Like, you have to find the right thing to either get other people to not vote for them or to get them in line. It's one way or the other. You have to find a way to get them out of office, or you have to find a way to get them in line.
I think we've passed the point of getting them back in line.
Yeah.
I think we're at the point now where we have to get them out of office. But the hard part about getting them out of office, just because you have somebody like Conrad who's outspoken like we are, doesn't necessarily mean victory. We're going to have to find someone who is like a Trump. The reason Trump won, he's Donald freaking Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew who he was. And so we're at the point now where if you're going to run somebody against the guy who owns Arvest Bank, if you're going to run somebody against a former governor, his daughter, you're going to have some type of name, or you're going to have to create a name for yourself.
Yeah.
And the only way you do that, you do what Alex Stein does. You do what Ron DeSantis does. You do outrageous, outlandish things to garner attention, and people will support you. If you come out, if I come out and I use a word that you're not supposed to use about a certain group of people, and I use that word multiple times, I'm going to get canceled, but that's going to get retweeted so many times on Twitter. And then the people who agree with me, they're going to be like, you know what? I like this guy. And that's the only way you're going to garner up enough attention is if you do some outlandish, stupid stuff. You're going to have to do some stuff where you're like,
Yeah.
But Trump was perfect at it. Trump said stuff, and it was just to piss people off.
Yeah.
And, I don't agree with it, but at the same time, it's like, it worked.
It was a combination of he said what many people were thinking but were too afraid to say.
Yep.
But it was also and also being a very personable human being, someone that was very charismatic, and the fact that he never really let journos or other politicians get to him.
Right.
He never flipped out on them. He was always, everything you see from him, everything that's gone viral is always him just kind of in a cheery mood. Mm-hmm. And that gets to people a lot. You see a politician, and it's not just like the staunch face, like, oh, well, I'm going to talk about the issues, or like getting pissed off at like Trump's just over here like, you know what, I think we should build a wall, okay? I build a wall. Hey, Sleepy Joe, what are you going to do, huh, Sleepy Joe? Like, he's just having fun. He's kind of just having fun with it.
He is a New Yorker that has money and lots of it, because it's like, here come the insult, because you'd be in jail. Like this man he's with it. He's been doing this for so long, because in reality, the business game is the politics game. It's the same people.
Yeah.
And so he knows how to piss these people off. And that's 50% of it is, can you piss off your opponent enough where it gets your side laughing at them?
Yeah.
Because then that's how you get supporters. If you can make people feel a range of emotions and identify with, like what you said, if they can see them and see a person and not see a politician, that's the key. But that's a thin line, guy.
Yeah. You really have to ride that. You have to find someone that's very personable, very charismatic, just unhinged enough to say, like, speak truth. Someone who can start memes like no other that's part of the reason why Donald Trump got elected, I think, is like there's the whole 4chan thing with Pepe the Frog, and that just became synonymous with Trump. And they memed this man to the top. That works because, like, memes, jokes, that goes a long way, right? When you find the perfect meme against the left, you will know it because it strikes them at their core. The OK Groomer thing, that blew up and got under their skin because it was effective and it was funny, right? So you have to find something that will be effective, that will make fun of them, that makes them the butt of the joke, makes them less serious as an individual. And you have to find people who can do that. Trump was a master at it.
You know who I wouldn't mind taking a shot at running for president? It's completely out of left field. Dana White, the UFC owner.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said Vanna White. As
no,
in the Wheel of Fortune lady. And I said, wait, hold up.
Vanna White, and then what's his name? Not Jim Carrey, but the big. He used to be big and fat. He does Prices Right now. He used to do
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey. Let Drew Carey run for president. No, I'm just kidding. But Dana White, man, he is, the way that he runs the UFC. It is based on personal stuff. Mm-hmm. Everybody that works for him, he knows to some degree. He interviews the fighters, the tiniest fighter that has never fought before, that nobody knows. He has introduced himself to before that person ever blows up. And that's why I think those people have so much respect for him, because he is a real boss. He doesn't just run the company from the top and then take all the credit. He's at every single fight. He's at every fight night. He's at every underclass fight, anything and everything, every weigh-in, all of it. And then whenever it comes down to it, you see the fighters, they're like, look, I'll never forget the black guy who was adopted into a family. He said, this white guy right here is my dad. He said, nobody can tell me any different. He said, he raised me from when I was a kid. He taught me how to be a man. And this man is my father. And nobody can tell me different just because we're not the same skin color. And to promote stuff like that, and then like what Patty Pimblett said about suicide, one of his friends killed himself. He said, this is about the time that men start speaking up. He said, I would much rather have my friend cry on my shoulder and it be a little bit awkward than have to go to his funeral next week. To promote stuff like that, that's what you need in a leader. That's a real leader, is somebody who cares about people. And he does. He cares about people. Is he considering running for president? I don't know. But my point is, that's what you need in office.
We need less politicians.
Yes, we need people. We need people who care about other people, that say, hey, you know what? There's a recession going on, and we need to do something. It's our responsibility. It's not saying, oh, well, it's the last administration's fault. Suck it up. Even if it was, suck it up. Do your job.
Yeah.
When I go to the quorum court meetings and they're like, well, that's not our place to say something about that. It is.
Yeah.
These people put us in these positions so that we would stand up for what they believe in, so they didn't have to.
Yeah.
And now you're taking that for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And it frustrates the crap out of me, because every level of politics, city, county, state, and federal, that's what it is.
Yeah.
If we don't have people like Dana White in office soon, we're not going to have a country very much longer.
Yeah.
Sorry for that tangent.
Dana
White's one of those guys that you see him and you're like, that's what we need. We need somebody like that. I couldn't tell you. I think he probably leans right, but I mean, even if he said I'm not left or right, I'd still vote for the guy. Like, I mean, unless he said something completely out of left field, like, we need to
kill babies.
Yeah, and incinerate a certain banker group. Like, that's probably not a good idea, buddy. Let's not do that.
Yeah. No, I definitely get where you're coming from on that. Shoot, I had a thought. I just lost it. I hate it when
I do that all the time.
Every time.
You gotta stop smoking weed.
I don't
It's
think
a memory loss drug.
Yeah, but I think that makes you lose more memory, not regain what you lost.
Well, you wouldn't remember. So how much pot did you smoke exactly, Garrett?
I legally can't answer.
You know that's from The Office, right?
No, dude, I haven't seen The Office in such a long time.
I love it.
But yeah, no, we need guys like that. I just remember what I was going to say. Politics has become a job. It really has. It's become like you're a CEO if you're the president. You're going to be, part of the executive board if you're in the federal office. You clock in, you clock out. All you care about is the paycheck. You don't really care about the people you're working for. When this country was established, the idea of the structure of government was this was a form of servitude.
Yep.
Right? You're there to serve the people. You're there to speak as them, not speak for them or just be like speak what you want to say. It's you are a direct pipeline from the people to the government, trying to figure out what will work best for the people. But now it's, well, I get paid, I get to come back to this job tomorrow, work a 9 to 5. That's not what this should be. This should be actively figuring out what will work best for your community, and that kind of stuff works better when you are a part of it. That's why I like the idea of, hey, let's just elect like this farmer who kind of he
Right.
talks to people, he knows people, and he just wants to figure out what works best. He knows what his neighbor's going through and what he's suffering from in terms of the economy or from certain laws. Let's see what I can do about that. I want to be able to do that. And then I go in there for 4 years, get out, go back to my job being a farmer, right? That's what it should be. It's just these different people who want to be of service to their fellow people and fellow neighbors, just going into the government for a little bit, coming back out and continuing their job.
The one, if I could change one law right now that I think would really help out with getting people elected that need to be in these positions, take away the law that says if you've been elected 3 times or more to a federal position, then you make that salary for the rest of your life. That's an absolute. I think
It's insane.
I think it may just be Senate, but I don't know if Congress is like. But it's like $200,000 a year that we're paying to people who we can't even remember their names.
This is where your taxes go to too.
Yeah.
Like it's
And
not it's not like a company's paying them. This is basically they're taking money out of your pocket and paying themselves with it. On top of the crap they're sending to Ukraine, on top of the money that they're just
Burning.
wasting away. Friggin' Obama will go to a golf championship or something and use his money to buy to pay the fee, to pay the like. That's not how this should work at all.
It's $200,000. So I mean, how many people in this country actually make $200,000 a year? And then on top of that, why are we paying politicians $200,000 a year?
Yeah.
It should be
Realistically, it should be like the median income of the people you serve,
yeah.
Yeah.
which gives them an incentive to increase the median income.
Honestly,
of their
that would
people.
kind of
but it
better
also
work.
As
doesn't
long as
pay
it's a
them a whole
livable
bunch.
wage, I don't care what you pay them. I mean, because if you can live off of it, that's all that it should be done.
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't be in a high and mighty position. You shouldn't see your politicians pulling up in a Mercedes and his wife is right behind him in a Range Rover, burning gas, spending money, going to eat at fancy restaurants, going to all these big dinners. Why?
Yeah.
But for what?
Yeah.
Like your job is not supposed to be a celebration of you. It's supposed to be you serving the people that put you in that position. And when you start talking about that to Republicans, anytime you touch a Republican's money, they're going to get very upset with you. How dare you think that? Well, they work hard. They don't work hard, clearly, because they're screwed.
Because nothing's they've
Like,
changed nothing.
Nothing. That's why I'm so done. The GOP is irrelevant at this point because they conform to everything the left says because they're afraid of the left.
Yeah.
The only thing that I fear is God. That's why I'm so afraid, because it's like I want to have kids, dog. Like I want to see my kids grow up. I'm not going to get that opportunity because you guys are going to screw it up so fast. Jesus is going to come back, and then we're going to have to deal with a bunch of other stuff. like it's just frustrating because I know that us three, we could do these jobs blindfolded with our hands tied behind our back if we had to. It's not a hard job, but yet here they are acting like, you don't know what we go through. You have any idea how hard it was to sit in a restaurant in Washington while somebody was doing something at the Capitol? Ma'am, shut up.
No one cares.
Like, no one cares about your little struggle. Like, do you know how hard it is to find baby food whenever you're a single mom that works 3 jobs? Can't find baby food. And then when you do find baby food, you can't afford it because you don't make enough money, even though you work 3 jobs to try and take care of your kids.
No,
That's a struggle.
Yeah. And you don't know about that because anytime they come to your rallies and try to say something, you shut them down and go, shut up, you don't know anything.
Like, you're not important. Oh, you're one person. That's just one person. Ma'am, that is so many people who live in this country, let alone the people who live in your section that vote for you.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's really sad to see how detached these people are from reality.
Yeah. Well, I have another political ad for you.
Bum, bum, bum.
We're not going to play the video for this. We have it on the show notes. Just click on the link for the New York guy. But there's a guy who's running for, I think, the New York Congress. And he put out an ad where he did what Kim Kardashian's mom did to get her daughter famous.
Oh.
He filmed himself being intimate with a professional adult actress.
Uh-oh.
And he filmed this with himself, and he put this out and was like, "Hey, I just want to show that I'm sex positive. So please vote for
That
me."
guy?
Yeah, look at this.
Oh my God. He looks
Yeah.
like a thumb.
Well, I mean, obviously,
Jesus Christ, are his eyebrows real?
bro wakes up in the morning and just glues eyebrows up. Bro,
I've never seen someone who has to get a haircut for their eyebrows.
Bro, Bert didn't age well.
Bro, if I couldn't take him seriously, there's no way, because whatever he's doing, like, I don't care what kind of job this guy has. I would just be looking at his eyebrows like, dang, like, how did God give you so many eyebrow hairs and none on the top of your head?
Here you go. Here's the.
Yeah, so this is a still from the video. There's nothing like super explicit, but yeah, if I remember right, this article quoted something he said in there where he said, "Oh, I haven't done this before," or something like that while doing it.
He probably hasn't. Does he have a wife?
I hope
Not anymore. Bro,
like
as a man, you gotta be better than that.
Yeah, he's a self-described liberal independent candidate. So he's not a part of the Democratic Party, but he's basically
Left-leaning,
He's
quote
Part-
unquote.
leaning.
In his mind, he's
Leaning.
saying he's left-leaning.
But yeah, his domestic policy literally explicitly it says if you scroll, domestic policy dash sex positive approach. That's gonna encompass his entire domestic policy.
When you
with
and your
New York.
boss get into an argument, just have sex. It'll fix all your problems.
Obviously,
That's
he's
what
gonna go to the Congress chambers just like, guys, I know exactly what's gonna fix all this. We're just gonna have an orgy right here in the chambers.
You know these people over here, I'm getting a bad vibe, and then these people over here, I'm getting a bad vibe. Maybe we just need to take our shirts off, take our pants off, and let's just see what happens, man. I mean, it's one of those things. Love is love, dude.
Love is love. Bert, stay away from us.
He said, everybody put these blindfolds on, and just whatever you stick in whatever happens, you just roll with it, man.
This is what happens when you let guys who are down bad into government.
Yeah, you see this quote.
He
I'm
said,
kind of a nerd who doesn't like to be the center of attention if I can avoid it. He
Clearly.
says after he makes a porn video.
Clearly, he doesn't like being the center of attention.
I'm kind of a nerd who doesn't like to be in the center of attention if I can avoid it. Hey, babe, come just get in front of the camera.
Why would he wear a suit in this video? Why wouldn't he come in wearing like a pizza boy outfit or something? Like stick with the agenda, man. Play the part.
Yeah, so
He's got to leave the suit on the whole time, dude.
Did he go? Did something happen there?
What? Well,
I hope
I'm
not,
guessing
but I think
since this still is credited to this website, I'm guessing.
That would be
Some
so
of that-
funny if
bro.
and then like the video's over at the end of it. It just says his name 2024.
Yeah. just the money shot, and then it just fades in.
God bless America,
here's-
Garrett.
Here's the quote you're talking
Why
about.
would you say that?
Where's the quote?
This right here. He told the news outlet prior to the video he had never had sex on camera. That's good.
I think what he meant to say
Cool.
was
You should have
he had
kept
never
it
had
that way.
sex.
Yeah, keep it that way, Baldy.
I think they butchered the quote a little bit. It should have been he had never had sex, much less on camera.
He had never had sex with a camera before.
But yeah, his
He
entire
is a nerd, so I mean,
his entire domestic policy basically just revolves around sexual rights, abortion rights for women, and then make sexual rights explicit. Do not rely on privacy or free speech rights. And then
so
ending
he's
in
anti-free speech.
I guess.
How can you be any type of American and be anti-free speech?
I don't, well, he just wants sexual rights.
He just is like,
sex positivity.
he doesn't want you to be able to say no.
Well, yeah, see, that's what this is for right here. Define
just hate
consent.
speech.
No, it's right here. Define consent.
I am dead.
Bro,
And by that he means
bro.
consent
guys get
means,
to have the
Yeah,
consent.
it
the
says-
guys get to define the
It
consent.
says
yes,
in
yes.
government involvement in marriage, no discrimination based on marital status. So first off,
Here you go.
we should
End
be allowed to
adultery
cheat
laws.
on our wives.
Hide your kids,
right
hide
here.
your wife.
It
They
says
bring
end
everybody
adultery
out here.
laws right here.
Yeah, so you in adultery laws define I think consent's defined as being over 18. First off,
I mean, I don't know.
Like-
This
like
is
that-
he is
like,
left-leaning.
We do have an age of consent, and then defined
Probably
consent
gonna
is
drop it down to 16.
is hey, if they say if they respond and go I want to do it, that's consent, right? Like
Yeah, I mean it's not that hard. It's just over 18. Yes means yes. No means no. That's
yeah, like
No
bro,
means
you
yes.
have to have consent defined for you, like. like, what, are you gonna go to the Senate floor and just be like, so if she's screaming at the top of her lungs and like literally digging her nails into the door trying to get out of the room, is she consenting?
I think what this is AOC's syllabus, and he just changed a couple of words and then posted it as himself. Yeah. He's like, this is my platform.
I mean, to be fair, the only sexual experience he's had has been on right
camera.
Here. Has been where he probably had to sign a release form or something beforehand.
And probably had to pay for it.
She's probably sitting there thinking, like, do I really have to do something with this guy? Like, is he going to stick his eyebrows in me? Like,
he takes off his eyebrows before doing the deed.
I mean, imagine
see the title of the video.
You can see
Bucket
he's like
list
smelling her hair, bro.
Bucket list bonanza.
Bucket list bonanza. What's next for this guy? Is he going to release all of his campaign ads on Pornhub?
No, he
the next one's going to be like, he's going to walk into a room and sit on the couch and you're going to see like 7 black guys come in from the background. He's going to be like, equality matters to me. So I'm going to let these guys...
It's gonna start on a tight shot of him just sitting on a couch talking to the camera, and it's gonna just slowly zoom out. He's like, and that's why I believe in sex positivity. And there's just 4 black dudes behind him just staring.
They're like,
I'm here with you today. I'm here with you today to talk about interracial intercourse.
Interracial.
He's like, to continue my sexual bonanza.
Because
I'm
because I am
creating
pro
this piece.
interracial marriages and I am I'm anti homophobia. I'm going to prove that I'm for gay people and for black people.
As he's unbuckling his belt.
Hands out.
He's like, if only I had 2 more hands. Oh my God.
These are the kinds of degenerates New York has. Please don't let
Can we call this guy and get him on the podcast? Please.
Just call him.
Like, bro, we want to bring you on. What in the hell is wrong with you, bro? What? You never heard of an eyebrow waxing? Like, you're not going to wax your eyebrows before you get on there.
That would be hilarious if I just reached out to his office and he's like, oh, yeah, sure, I want to be interviewed.
He's on for like 30 seconds and we're like, what up, back? Hey,
I wonder what he sounds like.
He probably talks like
I
this.
straight up am just picturing Bert's voice. I've never.
Sex with me, you will.
That's Yoda.
I'm trying to think of somebody with some thick, bushy eyebrows. Besides, that I know how to do their voice.
You got Tully from Sesame Street as well. Man's got bushy eyebrows. The dude from Schitt's Creek has bushy eyebrows.
They all have bushy eyebrows. Or you're talking about the dude that was in American Pie?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man,
The
I
dude
can't
from.
remember his name.
I don't remember his name either.
He's got such a specific voice. It's so hard to.
Yeah.
That's funny. Man. That poor guy is screwed.
Look into the people you're voting for, please, and don't let it.
He probably looked in. He was like, "What's something that all of my people in my district have in common? They all watch porn." This will work.
That's how you reach a demographic.
They'll see it.
That's him. There he is. If Bert grew up and went bald.
Yeah. See. The fact that they actually look alike is absolutely terrifying. Like, oh my God. I can't tell. Is that a shadow? Or is that eyebrow giant? That one's just like half.
His eyebrows keep going all the way down to his eyelid.
He's part Wookiee. He's just trying to hide it. He gets on stage and they're like, "What's your stance on abortion?"
Oh my gosh. So moral of the story.
Don't put your campaign ads on Pornhub.
Don't make a porn video as a campaign ad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, look into the people you're gonna vote for. But not that too much.
Could you imagine if somebody did something like that in Arkansas? All the pastors would be like,
Or
"Yo,
they'd be
bro,
stoned. They'd be stoned.
tie him up at the stake."
Burn the witch.
What was the thing from Monty Python and the Holy Grail? It's like if
Throw
a
her
duck
in the
floats and a feather floats, then if she's a witch, she must float. So let's throw her in the water.
If she sinks, she's not a
There's
witch.
Something about they weighed her. She's like, if she weighs as much as a duck, she's
Yeah.
a witch.
She's a witch.
And they put her in the cage, and she actually weighed the same as a duck.
Yeah.
So they were gonna kill her.
You're like, oh, that's rigged. 'Tis but a scratch.
All right.
Dang, I got a big freaking forehead. God bless America. I got to put that down.
You need to grow out your eyebrows.
Yeah, that's going to help me out. Take up some of that space.
So we'll move on from that. We have just a little bit of time to, I guess, go into culture section. Nothing big happened within culture this week.
Garrett came out.
I did. Wait a second. But we did have this stupid thing, and all the more reason, like, I'm glad we barely have any time to cover this, because this Image 8, this broad does not deserve our attention. I don't know how she managed to become a freaking duchess. We're talking about Meghan Markle, and she has, like, a Spotify-approved podcast that, like, has a butt ton of funding. I don't like her at all. But on this podcast, she basically was complaining about how her first job was on Deal or No Deal, and she didn't like it because she didn't like being treated like a bimbo. She felt like she wasn't being treated for her intelligence.
Why do you think they had 25 hot girls with cases? It was not about...
It's a modeling gig, sweetie.
Yeah.
Like,
you wouldn't be where you are if it wasn't for that job. You think that Prince Harry was watching Deal or No Deal for the money? He was like, dang.
yeah, like, for most of these game shows, you get attractive people to be set dressing because people like to look at attractive people.
Well, Howie Mandel's your host. You have to have some counterbalance.
Yeah, obviously. When you have the guy who voiced the kid in that Disney Channel show, I forget what it's called, like Freddy's World or something. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Howie Mandel voiced this little child in this show where this kid could, like, make things with chalk. I forget what it's called. I think it's like Thomas. But he also is the voice of Gizmo in Gremlins.
Really?
Yeah,
How do you know that?
Yeah, Howie Mandel is just typecast as the guy. So when you have a guy who sounds like that and looks like that, you got to have something to balance that out. So you get attractive women to stand next to cases. It's not a high cognitive job.
No.
To just sit there and whenever the number on the case is called, go. Or,
I mean, if you think about it, if they were in porn, they'd be doing the same thing.
I mean, there's some skill to it at the very
To the case opening?
No, to the other thing. The case opening is just you open the case. At the very least, you have to do more than just open a case. And
Well, at least on Deal or No Deal, they don't have to actually get intimate with the bald guy.
well, that too. Yeah, at least you weren't the lady in the political ad, Meghan Markle.
Oh, come on.
But like, it's this insane. She's such an unlikable human being because she married into one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest family on the face of the planet, and then just said, oh, well, I don't like them. So she forces her husband to leave the family, effectively going into exile from England,
Losing all their money.
just because, like, she doesn't like that Queen Elizabeth, who's a decrepit old lady, said something. Like,
What do you think old women... Like, okay, now that she's dead, now what are they going to do? Is she going to just be like, oh, let us back in the family. This old lady that I didn't like is gone.
And suddenly she comes back, and because she's not even famous for her acting abilities.
Nope.
Like, she was in, I don't even know how many seasons of Suits, and that's the only thing that she has to her name.
This is why she's famous.
That, and she's a duchess. Like, she somehow married Prince Harry. Well,
Before that was the only reason.
that's the
was
reason
famous.
she, like, Prince Harry got, like, was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll marry you.
Okay.
But like, she's not even a talented actress. Also, I would like to add her first acting role after leaving Deal or No Deal was on Reno 911 as a woman who was giving one of the main characters a BJ in the car. So, good job, Megan. You left a job because you felt like you were being
sexualized.
You were being sexualized.
She was.
First.
Did she not know that that was the whole point of her
You
being
signed
hired?
up for the job, bro. And honestly,
Oh,
nice sack. Honestly, that's one of the most
it sounded like he said nice sack.
That's one of the most tasteful and modest sexualizations I've ever seen. You're standing there in like a nice cocktail dress, and all you do is open a case and react to the number that's inside of it. That is it. That's literally all she does.
I didn't know people sexualize Deal or No Deal. Because, like, when I watch Deal or No Deal, sometimes I'd be like, oh, she's kind of bad. Like, okay. But I wasn't, like, it stopped there.
Yeah,
like,
well,
I was
because-
watching the
because
show.
They don't actively sexualize the women. It's literally, you just look there to look nice. You're not,
And he's
like,
just-
don't do anything
He's
sexual.
so nice. He says,
just
you
look
beautiful
nice.
ladies. Oh, these, wonderful women. He's always
Yeah.
complimentative. And it's like,
Yeah.
now you want to turn around and use it, even though at the time you were using it as a positive thing for yourself. You want to turn around now and reap
complain
more
about it.
benefits from it by complaining about it.
Even
It's
though
so
you
stupid.
took a job role where you did sex scenes in suits and gave a dude a BJ, like, come on. And you're a duchess now. Just shut up and go home. Why do you have a podcast? Just freaking go, stay home, hang out with your husband, who probably, hopefully, loves you, and just shut up.
Carson Wentz looking.
Yeah. So that's about all the time I want to take on her, because she's not worth it. She should just fade to obscurity. Like, why does she have a platform? Why do people listen to her or pay attention to anything she says? She is a woman.
They're stupid sheep.
She's a woman who was born of privilege and gained even more of it, and then wants to complain about Queen Elizabeth maybe asking the potential race of her children, and being on a show where you are tastefully, I wouldn't even say you're sexualized. You just wear a nice dress and you look pretty.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry.
it's not like an in-depth modeling gig where you have to like do these poses, or you just stand there and be yourself.
How many jobs do they have like that for guys, where they just stand there in a suit and look good and hold a case? None. That doesn't exist.
Nope. If you want to look good as a guy, you gotta get super fit and then wear Speedo.
Yeah. And then you just gotta be dumb.
Yeah.
My name is Chris.
So we will wrap this up with what's the word I'm looking for? A PTA or a
Public
PSA?
service
PSA.
announcement.
So this was in Los Angeles County. They found fentanyl in some candy packages.
Mm-hmm.
So as you go out, this week is Halloween. Be careful of the things your kids eat. Honestly, like, dude, most candy is chemically not safe for human consumption anyways. I mean, I learned months ago now, and Skittles are chemically not okay for you to eat. Like, it's not like, oh, there's some nutritional benefit. You'll eat it.
Zero.
Literally zero. It actively damages you. I now very much appreciate the houses that hand out like apples or something on Halloween now, because candy's just not good. If you're going to take your kids trick-or-treating, if you're going to give them candy, limit it and double check those boxes for freaking fentanyl.
But also, like, I've seen a lot of that. I saw something in Florida about that. These people were taking the fentanyl pieces and wrapping them in like Smarties containers. And just where you go trick-or-treating is probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
If you come somewhere like this neighborhood, very nice neighborhood, very good people. It's a giant neighborhood, so you're going to get a big score if you're a kid. I think that it needs to be, a community needs to come together and say, hey, come do your trick-or-treating here because it's safe. Hey, we get safe trick-or-treating. And then, kind of, it shouldn't be this way. But if you have to, get people to commit to, like, make sure the people who are handing out candy don't have priors, that they're not selling drugs to kids or selling drugs in general. Because, like, if I'm going with Braxton, we go trick-or-treating, and then we pull up some pothead's house, and he's like, oops, I accidentally gave him the sack of weed instead of candy. Well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, because then what if it was something that was more dangerous than that,
Mm-hmm.
It's a scary thing. It shouldn't be. Halloween's supposed to be fun. Your kid dressed up, you go get candy.
It's a devil holiday.
Yeah. It's supposed to be something that's just, you're a kid, you have fun. You only get to do this a couple of times, my guy.
Yeah.
And now you, as a parent, have to worry that not only is your kid safe, but Are they going to be happy? Are they going to enjoy this? Are they not going to want to ever do this again because we had to take all their candy because we were afraid they were laced with drugs?
Not only that,
horrible.
but you also got to worry about the costumes you kids wear, because nowadays it's
Oh,
like,
my
oh, you wear
Lord.
the wrong costume, suddenly you and your family's getting canceled. So for Halloween, be safe out there. Have fun with your kids. Get to know your neighbors. This is a great opportunity because you're going door to door in your neighborhoods. Get to know your neighbors a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, introduce yourself. We live in a time where we barely know anyone in our community anymore.
And you never know. You may knock on someone's door that you already know and you had no idea
Yeah.
you live next to
Yeah,
them.
I've been going on daily walks in the morning, and I've gotten to, I mean, even just in passing conversations, get to become acquainted to some of my neighbors. So yeah, one of my favorite songs nowadays. I've found the song. It's "Talk About the Good Times" by Jerry Reed, and I really like it now because it's basically just I mean, it was a country song in the 70s and 80s, and it still is applicable today, where it's saying, we don't know who our next door neighbor is. People aren't going to greet me with a smile, and as a friend, we're all angry. We're all contained to ourselves. We don't want to talk to people. Use this as an opportunity to talk to people, get to know your neighbors.
Amen.
Have fun with your kids. Dress up as some goofy people. It's supposed to be a fun time, even if you think it's a pagan holiday that's evil or whatever. Then dress your kid up as like a Power Ranger and just like go have fun. This isn't. That's what this is for. So, happy Halloween, everyone! From all of us here at Alt.tistic, the most retarded show on the face of the internet. I've been your host, Garrett. This is my co-host, Davey.
Yeah.
My producer, Zach. Let us know what you think about what we think down in the comments down below. If you're watching us on Odyssey, Rumble, or YouTube, hit the like button on YouTube, hit the Rumble button on Rumble. I don't know what the button is on Odyssey, but follow us on all three platforms along with Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give us 5-star ratings to hopefully get us above like 8 subscribers. All the fun stuff. And remember that I am an ambassador for Coffee Brain Coffee. Link down below, or you can just go to the website and use code name Garrett. That is all for us today. Stay retarded out there, everybody. We eagerly await Kanye's next move. Have a great week. Good night.